Here's another throwback to a video I made 10 years ago where we're looking at 10 songs that you can play with the chords D major, G major and A major. Some of these songs are the same as what I did in that previous video, but many of them are new. All of them are appropriate even for absolute beginners, but there are quite a few of these that have some tasty stuff that more advancing players might want to have a go at, and it's as simple as that. Let's get stuck in and learn the chords first of all, and then we'll look at the songs. Timestamps are in the description so you can skip along if you wish. The only 3 chords you'll need to be able to play a basic version of these songs are the D major chord, the G major, and an A major. The D major, this tends to be the default way that everyone plays a D major. I do want to encourage advancing beginners to have a go at muting string 6 with the thumb, just sitting it on top, but still keeping those fingers really curled over and on an angle towards your strumming hand shoulder, which makes the stretch easier rather than doing it this way. This way isn't wrong, it's more of the classical way of playing a D major chord. I often see it playing this way also with a bar of the first finger. That's not the pop and rock and folk way or the country way. This is the more standard way of playing the D major in true cowboy chord fashion. The G major chord is traditionally played like this with fingers 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to encourage that we default to playing this with 4 fingers so that we have an anchor finger or a pivot finger that stays down between the chord changes of G major to D major, as it is the change between these chords that will be the tricky part for beginners, and not just placing your fingers in one place. This way is a really useful G for all the songs in this video. Finally, A major. Perhaps the traditional way is just to have 3 fingers in a line like this. I encourage total beginners to play it in this fashion, which is very common in videos that you'll learn from online, because we can change to that D major, again with a pivot. And this is very, very common. However, anyone that feels they have larger fingers, bigger hands, or perhaps even sausage fingers, try this A. Try a 1-finger A chord, and especially try and play this keeping string 1 ringing out by doing this kind of pinch with the first finger, kinking that first knuckle, really bending that second knuckle, but still the wrist is comfortable, it's not at an angle or anything. And gentlemen, especially with bigger fingers and hands, if you got hands like a bricklayer, you're going to like this one, I promise you. It might be new to you, it might be the first time you've come across it, but I use that A all the time, and especially for beginner songs, it actually gives all your fingertips a rest, where we're not on the fingertips for every chord. We actually have a flat first finger for this one, and this is of course prepping your fingers to be able to play harder chords like bar chords later on in your guitar playing development. The first song is by the Beatles. You heard of them? This is a very easy guitar riff, and often people that are looking at strumming acoustic songs don't learn enough repetitive guitar riffs, which really train you in a lot of good skills in a short amount of time as possible. They're super recognizable, great stuff to play in front of friends and family, or if you're trying out fancy guitars in a guitar shop. Try this one. This is Twist and Shout. This of course uses the D major, the G major with this variation keeping the 3rd finger down between the change between G and D, little finger down underneath it, and then you can even play, if you wish, a 1-finger A chord, or even just an A power chord rather than having to get string 1 ringing out. You only really need to strum string 5, 4 and 3. And that's going to sound great along to the recording. If you want to practice your open chord changes, that's the way that I would do it. And it's D major twice, G major twice but faster, and then the A major once on its own, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and The only other thing that happens in that song is staying on an A chord. Please learn that riff, especially if you don't know any guitar riffs at all yet. But my next choice is a more traditional strumming song using basic open chords. Little riff for those of you that want to learn a little riff too with single notes, but the main song can be played with just D, G and A. This is Mr. Tambourine Man. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. The strumming pattern that I'm using is down, down, up, down, up, down, up. That is almost per chord. So G major to A major. And the biggest tip here is on that last up strum on the 4 and. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. That and is a cue to lift and play this chord. So it kind of has a 4th chord in it really. But that chord doesn't have a name. It just allows or facilitates a quicker and better solid change between all our basic open chords. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. And that's how we can make this change at any level, not even just beginner level. That song has an especially long chord progression for anyone to learn, not even beginners, especially if you want to memorize it. So my tutorial for that, free on YouTube, has the tutorial with the chords written for every chord in that song for the full play along, where we highlight the chords throughout each bar of the chord progression. Check out that if you want to learn that one. But let's move on to my next song choice now. Free Falling by Tom Petty uses a capo or a capo at the 3rd fret. So our D major chord becomes actually an F chord, which would be this. But this is how this is played on the original recording. Even Rick Beato's reel of this song played it in this fashion, so it must be right. And this goes between a D major chord to a G, G back to D, and then we could go to an A major chord to stay true to the title of this video, but it's actually an A sus4, which is just a slight embellishment of the A chord, but it's actually keeping that 3rd finger in place, which facilitates an easier chord change because we only have to move fingers 2 and 3 a little bit, rather than having to move all our fingers for every chord. D major, G major with all 4 fingers, G to D quickly, and then A sus4, and it's to the lyrics of the verse. So the rhythm of the lyrics of the verse. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and her boyfriend too. The rhythm of the verse tells you the rhythm to strum the song, but we can do this with 8th strumming or even more complex strumming patterns. The rhythm of the left hand, the chord hand, stays the same. For example, she's a good girl, crazy about Elvis. So what's the strumming pattern? Just all downs. On a count of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the chord hand has to change to the tempo of the strumming hand. And if you're a more advanced or intermediate player, you can embellish that in many ways. I've done a video where we look at 5 levels of Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, step in between those in a more incremental pattern. I will link to that on my website, which will be the top link of the description on YouTube. That will have a tutorial and or a chord sheet for every song we look at in this video. Check that out if you're wanting to learn any of these songs more in depth. I'm just giving you an idea of how to play them. Let's have a look at the next one. Get Back by the Beatles uses the chords G major, D major, and an A5 power chord, which is an A major chord, but we don't need the third, or the major third, which is string 2, or even string 1 to ring out on this A chord. We only need string 5 at fret 0, so the open string, and fret 2 at strings 3 and 4. And we again do that to this 8th strumming pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and there's just that one finger holding these down. Jojo was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it couldn't last. And most of the song just goes between the A chord and the D chord in that fashion. Jojo left his home in Tucson, Arizona, for some California grass. And it's only in the chorus that it does this G to D change. So all the verses just A and D. Chorus, get back, get back, get back to where you once belonged. G, D, back, get back, get back to where you once belonged. All the guitar solos, it's just like the verse. Next up, we have not one but 2 Creedence Clearwater Revival songs. Creedence are such a fantastic band for using basic open chords or power chords to play such fantastic songs, but that are super repetitive from a guitar side of things. That makes it great to jam along to the original recording. If you haven't learned any songs yet that you can play all the way through, learn a Creedence song. You can't go wrong with jamming along to them with any of these song suggestions. First up, Bad Moon Rising. The intro and all the verses, and even the guitar solo section of Creedence Clearwater Revival Bad Moon Rising is a D major, A, G, D. And it stays on that T for a full 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, D, D, A, G. Again, strumming goes to the rhythm of the lyrics. I see a bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. That strumming pattern, when we stay on the D, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. But again, to a swing rhythm, not just down, 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 up, down, up. It's not just about the action. The rhythm's got to be right. Bum, 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 ba, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum, bum. As opposed to dun, 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 dun. Can you tell a difference? That's with swing, which is what we're going for. Without swing, we call it straight. It's a straight rhythm. We want to swing with this one. Chorus section, which is the only other chord progression in the song, starts on a G. Don't go around tonight, 'cause it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. And then it's back to the verse sections. The other Creedence song we can play is Up Around the Bend, and to be honest, there's probably many more, but these would be my top 2. Up Around the Bend is a D major chord to an A major chord and back to D. It only goes G in the chorus, and it's G, D, A. And going up around the bend. These basic open chords happen underneath the lead guitar section, which I'll show you in 1 second, but the gist of it would be 2 bars of the D, A, and D. 2 bars of D, 1 of A, 1 of D, repeat. That's all it is. You can jam along to this song straight off the bat if you're comfortable with those chords and you have experience of playing songs like this. So I encourage you to give it a go. That lead guitar part for more advancing players starts on the open D string. And what you wouldn't get from learning that from tab is that this is actually a D major chord as much as this is. It's just called a D major triad because we're playing it, or an inverted triad because it's this would be a straight D triad, root, 3rd and 5th, and then this is the octave, but we're just playing the 3rd, 5th and the octave, but it makes a riff. These are the 3 notes of a D major chord that you might play in a bar chord, for example, at the 10th fret, 10 and 11. Then it slides down to where an A major bar chord would be at the 5th fret. So open A, slide to that 6th fret, and then back to D. Without the slide is how you want to get it first. And then add the slide in as soon as you're comfortable. Our next song is going to again use a capo. With a capo at the 2nd fret, we can play Walk of Life by Dire Straits with basic open chords. D major, A, G, A, G, A, do, 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 do. And then the whole rest of the song can be played just with these basic open chords. Plenty to do if you're a more advancing player and want to play the riffs and things, which are more in the key of E, using E, A and B. Use some blues riffs in there if you want, but let me give you a blast of this one. And remember, this chord sheet that I'm following, I've linked to in the description, and I've got a full tutorial for this song with these chords if you want to learn it yourself on YouTube and at andyguitar.co.uk. From the top of the song, in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Johnny singing oldies goldies, bebop-a-loo-bop, baby, what I say. Here comes Johnny singing, I got a woman down in the tunnels trying to make it pay. He got the action, he got the motion, oh yeah, the boy can play. Dedication, devotion, turning all the night time into the day. He do the song about the sweet loving woman, he do the song about the knife, well he do the walk of life, yeah, he do walk of life. That song has some great lyrics to encourage any beginners to keep going through these early stages when you're learning these songs and it's not quite coming together. Dedication, devotion, these are the ways that we get through these tricky times, as is this next one. It's a bit more of a rocky one. It's from the 2000s. This is The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. If you listen to this, you might not realise that it's basically a 3-chord song. I've taught this one, all the electric guitar parts to it on my YouTube channel as well, but here's how we could play it with 3 basic open chords on acoustic guitar. The Middle by Jimmy Eat World can be played with the basic open chords D major, A major, and G major. And for example, hey, don't write yourself up yet. It's only in your head you feel left out or look down on. Just try your best, try everything you can. And don't you worry what they tell themselves when you're away. Same for the chorus. If I use the strumming down, down, up, down, up, down, up, that'll work really great for this song. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. That one has some great parts for intermediate players to learn on electric. Full tutorial on my YouTube channel. But as does this one as well. This is Breakfast at Tiffany's, which uses the D major chord and a G over B, which is just the G major chord, but without the middle finger and with a muted third string. And you can even play this with the little finger off as well, so long as it's muted. If it's not going to mute, you'll need to keep your finger on it, but if you can just touch this string lightly, it will mute. You'll save your fingertips, and that's actually how it's played as well. A major, kicking out to an A sus4. A lot of advanced things in this one, not least the strumming, which is breakneck speed. But at its core, you'll say that we've got nothing in common, no common ground to start from. We're falling apart. All the verses and all those riffs are just played D, G, A at their core, and it's the other way around, D, A to G for the chorus. When I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film line. If you want to play it the full way, again, just do it without the middle finger on string 6. As I recall, I think we both kind of liked it, and I said, well, that's the one thing we got. And that will get you through the whole song. These things are so important. We don't have to play every song we learn exactly like the original recording. If we did, we'd have very few songs to choose from. And there's actually a whole world of songs that you can play, enjoy, have fun with, singing along and playing along to the original recording, including this last choice. This is by the Travelling Wilburys. I've not done this one on my YouTube channel ever. The End of the Line by the Travelling Wilburys can be played with just D major, A major and G major. For example, well, it's alright, riding around in the breeze. Well, it's alright, if you live the life you please. Well, it's alright, doing the best you can. Well, it's alright, as long as you lend a hand. A quick strum of the verses with the strumming pattern. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Again, this really common strumming pattern. You could do beginner favourite down, down, up, down. But these ones with D, G and E tends to be down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up is what we want. For example, you can sit around and wait for the phone to ring, the end of the line, waiting for someone to tell you everything. Sit around and wonder what tomorrow will bring. And for example, that chorus again. Well, it's alright, riding around in the breeze. Well, it's alright, live the life you please. Well, it's alright, doing the best you can. Well, it's alright, as long as you lend a hand. And finally, if you know these basic chords, try this riff. Play that D major chord, but starting at fret 7 and 8. So this same shape, but move the first and middle finger all the way up to fret 7, and the third finger will be at string 8, and then back down to D major in the normal position. Slide it up again. Another 2 frets to 9 and 10, and then play that up around the bend chord we played earlier. And you can play the intro to this song. That is using something called triads, which I'm just about to film a video on. It's really important, which is where we play basic open chords higher up the neck. So if you practice basic open chords with these songs and get them in shape, you can actually just move those same chords up the neck and suddenly be advanced. And it sounds really great. That's what I'm going to film next. I'll leave it here. When I've done that video, let me know any other song requests at all or any videos you want me to make in the comments below. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye for now.